We wanted to make sure that we kept them as our first priority, and they were. We want to thank them for their patience and understanding during this process. We have secured a great coach for them. These young men are truly Buckeyes. The 2017-18 season will be a year of transition that will require all of us to be supportive and patient. As we vetted the background of candidates through a number of contacts in the basketball community, Chris Holtmann's name continued to surface. Through that process, he emerged as our #1 candidate. The Ohio State University men's basketball program is one of the most respected in the country, and our coach must respect that great tradition. We sought a high-intensity individual with an emphasis on academics, someone who is relentless in recruiting with great ties to the great state of Ohio and the contiguous states. We found a proven winner who is a community engager and, bottom line, fits our culture. Now it's time for you to hear from the 14th coach in the history of the Ohio State University men's basketball program. Please join me in giving a warm Buckeye welcome to Coach Chris Holtmann and his lovely wife, Lori, and his beautiful daughter, Nora. Coach.
Thank you, Gene. Wow, what an honor to be in front of you here today. I can't tell you how excited I am. I want to begin by introducing my family who are here in the front row. Lori, my wife Lori, and Nora, who are here in attendance. They did a little shopping this past weekend. Got a little scarlet and gray, actually a lot of scarlet and gray in their wardrobe. My daughter painted a few Buckeyes on her toenails. She'd love to show you that afterwards. And then I have my parents, John and Patty Holtmann, my brother, John Michael Holtmann, and my wife's parents, Steve and Phyllis Beatty. Their love and support and sacrifice has been incredible, and I'm indebted to them. I want to start by thanking President Drake and Athletic Director Gene Smith for their belief in me and entrusting this proud program to us. You know, this was a decision that I had to work through. And I will say this, Gene was aggressive and persistent in his approach. And I really appreciated that. As I was working through this decision, I kept coming back to this. While we know we have some work ahead of us, the combination of this university with its world-class education and this athletic department with some of the best programs in their respective sports in the country, and this basketball program with 1 national championship and 10 Final Fours and 14 Sweet 16s and 27 NCAA tournament appearances and 20 Big Ten championships and 51 draft picks in a location where there is a rich pool of talent to recruit, beginning with this state. And then that whole combination supported by Buckeye Nation, a passionate fan base that absolutely loves and craves a winner. That combination was just simply too hard to pass on. You know, I want to make a special note here before I get going too further of some really important people and special people here, and that is in the back row, our current players who are here today. I appreciate you guys being here, fellas. You know, I had the chance to sneak over here on Friday. One of the first things I wanted to do was stand in front of them. And I was able to sneak over here, sneak in and out, and spend some time with them. And I was really, really impressed. You know, one of the things I'm reminded more and more as I get older is that you don't arrive to places alone. You don't achieve things on your own. So if you'll indulge me here while I just thank a few key people who have impacted me professionally and helped me get to this point. My first person I'd like to thank is my college coach, Paul Patterson, who's been a mentor for me. And then some people that have hired me and helped me along my way professionally. John Gross, who hired me at Ohio University as an assistant early in my career. Brad Stevens, who's been a dear friend, who has was really impactful and a great confidant in my time at Butler. And then athletic directors who took a chance on me. Chuck Birch, the athletic director at Gardner-Webb, gave me my first head coaching job, hired an unproven assistant from Ohio University. I'll always be indebted to him. And then the people who brought me to Butler, Brandon Miller, President Jim Danko and Barry Collier, who hired me at Butler. They're special men and leaders. And I'd also like to thank all of the incredible people I met while I was at Butler, from faculty to the fans. It was a really, really special 3 years. And then lastly, I just want to pay particular attention to the players and staff that I've had the fortune of leading as 6 years as a head coach. There's no question that they've played a major role in me standing here in front of you. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Coach Mata. You know, Thad is a friend, and his guidance through this process speaks to what I think all of us know about him. He's a man of great character, and he loves this place. He loves this place. You know, it was important to me that I had his blessing, and he went above and beyond in encouraging me and supporting me at the highest level. You know, Thad probably wouldn't want me to go on and say this, but the standard he set here is incredible. Yeah, I think everybody understands the records, the accomplishments, the championships on the floor. Those speak for themselves. The academic success, the kind of young men that he brought in, many of who are here today, the class and the dignity and the integrity which he led this program is a great example for all of us. You know, when I had a chance to sneak over here on Friday, one of the things that the players said, which I thought was terrific, was that they love when former players come back around. Whether it's playing open gym or just coming back around, they love that. You know, I think in every special program, people realize that it's bigger than them, that they're a part of something great. And it's always going to be important to me that our guys realize that they're a part of an amazing university and an accomplished athletic department and a terrific program, and that they understand that this program has been built upon the talent and toughness and work ethic of incredible players, coaches, managers, and staff. We want them around as much as they want to be around. We have complete open doors. I cannot wait to meet them all. Several I've had a chance to meet or talk to this past weekend. We're indebted to them. We are absolutely indebted to them. And their connection to this program is vital and extremely important. So to all of them, I want to say thank you. To all that are in the Buckeye basketball family, thank you. We're going to work extremely hard to make you guys proud. As I was talking to the players, one of the great questions that came up Friday in our meeting was, what will some of my goals be for the team, for this team? It was a great question. And, you know, my college coach used to say over and over something as simple as this: do today well. He'd say it over and over. Quite simply, that's going to be our goal from day one. We understand we have tremendous work ahead of us. We're excited about that challenge. But being disciplined to the process of doing today well is goal number one. There's some really, really good stuff that comes out of that. Obviously, a big part of doing today well is recruiting. And we're going to be really aggressive and passionate as a staff about adding Ohio State guys to our program. We'll be selective in this pursuit of Ohio State guys. It's not going to be for everyone. Tough, talented, unselfish, and committed student athletes who value this place, who come here like I did and say, wow, what an incredible place. You know, this region, as Gene mentioned, is a tremendous area for talented, smart, and tough players. I've recruited Ohio for over 20 years, this state, and it has outstanding players and coaches, some of the very best in the country. It will be paramount to our success. There's no question. We're going to work extremely hard as a staff to close the borders and dominate the state of Ohio in recruiting. It will be an everyday focus for us. You know, one of the reasons I became a coach was to help young people reach their dreams. There's nothing better than seeing that. There's nothing better than seeing young people reach their dreams. Our coaching staff's going to be committed to this whole person development of our players. Person, student, and player. The development of these players, our current players and future Buckeyes, is going to play a large role in determining the success, our success. How can we help them be the very best versions of themselves? That's what their families expect of us, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Finally, let me say this. I received a text on Friday. You know, Friday was an emotional day. I received a text in the afternoon from a coach I really respect. He's won a national championship, and he does it the right way. And he texted me this. He said, "Be yourself. It's plenty good enough." So that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're going to do. Our family's honored to be a part of this community. We can't wait to meet everybody. You see us in the grocery store. You see us out in town. We would love to meet you. We can't wait to get to know Buckeye Nation. Thank you for allowing me to lead this program. We can't wait to get started. Go Bucks.
We'll go ahead and start with questions. We have mic holders on each side. As a reminder, make sure you have a mic and start with Adam Jardy. If you wouldn't mind, introduce yourself.
Chris, Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch. Welcome to Columbus. Wondering, just as a starting point, you've had multiple opportunities in the past to maybe move your career here or there. Why was this the right fit for you, and did you have to initially say no before you said yes?
Yes, I will. I can be more than happy to answer that, and I think there's going to be some more detail that might be delivered here tomorrow. But, you know, it was something I had to deliberate on for sure. And, you know, there have been other opportunities that have come along. You're correct on that. This is the only one I seriously considered. And as I mentioned, Gene was persistent in his approach. And I had to deliberate. You know, I left a special program and special guys. That was emotional for me. But I'm telling you, it was the vision that he had and what he was looking for in this place. I'm extremely excited.
Tom Davis, Fort Wayne News Sentinel. Coach, you just left the best recruiting class, highest rated recruiting class in Butler history. What was your collective message to those kids?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to get into too many specifics about those kind of conversations. I would just say overall, Tom, that you know, continuity is really important, and that's going to be really important for me, that this transition is as seamless as possible, and I'm going to do everything within my power to make that happen from our end.
Hey, Chris. Jared Smalley from NBC4.
Sure.
Congrats and welcome.
Thank you.
The recruiting you mentioned a moment ago, actually a couple times, the deadline is a little tight here. Obviously, the summer window closes quickly, so you had to get to work quickly. What have you already done? What have been your first steps forward to try to get that train moving a little bit?
Well, as soon as I was signed on and compliance eligible to make calls and within the rules, that first hour we started making calls and contacting. And you know, I have some previous relationships with some young men, but our focus this past weekend has been Ohio. But I don't want to get too specific. Obviously, I'm not allowed to. But you know, we've hit the ground running, and that's going to continue to happen.
Hi, Chris. Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. Following up on Adam's question, there was a report out of Indiana that when Gene offered you a 6-year contract, you said no. 7-year contract, no. Finally, when 8-year contract, you said yes. Is that true? And how big a factor was that? What did that show you about their commitment, if true?
Well, his commitment was important, and I'll let him get into some of those details. And I think I'm not sure that's all entirely accurate, but there was some time where I had to kind of take a step back, and then we reinitiated conversations. But I'll let him speak to the specific details of those conversations probably tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, Coach, Steve Hellwagon with 24/7 Sports and Bucknuts. Question I have, there's been some tweets out there about guys who are coming with you, and I apologize if this was part of Adam's question earlier, I couldn't hear it, but do you know for sure if anybody is coming with you from Butler as an assistant coach today, and when do you think you're going to have your 3 full-time assistants nailed down?
We're going to build an incredible staff, and I can promise you that. I'm extremely excited about that. That will take place here in the coming days to weeks. It's going to happen quickly. There are some things that are in some wheels in motion on some of that, but that's there's nothing I can speak to as of right now specifically.
Just to follow up back on what Jared was asking, how do you put 2 years of recruiting into 4 weeks with these kids, the 2018 kids who are going to be out there playing in July and bridge that gap, I guess, for Ohio State?
Well, listen, it begins with a really special place. I would start there. Like, this place is incredible, and people understand that, and they understand what this place is about. I think we're going to have a great opportunity with the young kids, and obviously anytime you take a job at this point, you have a little bit of catch up. We understand that. We'll catch up. Promise me. I promise you that.
Bruce Hooley, 105.7 The Zone in Columbus. This is more of a long view recruiting question. Ohio State's had great success with some one and dones and have been burned by some. I don't think you've dealt with that at Butler. Right. Do you have a strategy that you've thought through, or is that something you're still formulating?
I think that that'll be something we'll continue to formulate. You know, we're really ultimately going to look for Ohio State guys, and I don't know that we necessarily want to put parameters on what that looks like. I think it can look like a lot of different things in terms of their time here, but that's the most important thing, are they Ohio State guys.
Matt McCoy, WTVN Radio. Just interested in what your view of the expectations on you are as you take this job, because I mean, you mentioned Coach Mata and the level that he raised the program to. Are you looking, man, I better be tournament and competing for Big Ten titles quickly? What is your mindset as you dive into this?
You know, we're going to get to work. Listen, I think one of the reasons you come to a place like this is because you understand that expectations come with it, and we're certainly not going to shy away from that. We understand we have some work to do ahead of us, and I think our guys are excited about that. I'm really excited about that. But this is a proud program that's used to competing for championships, that's used to competing in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to work diligently to make that happen.
Chris, Tim Shoemaker of the 11 Warriors. I'm sure when every coach starts his career, you kind of have a vision for how you want it to play out. But as a guy who just left, Gardner-Webb to take an assistant job just 3 years ago, how fast this all happened kind of catch you by surprise, or is this kind of what you envisioned for yourself?
You know, I don't think I've had people ask me about that a lot, and I don't think you ever know exactly what it's going to look like. It's different for, each guy's path is different. So I think you really just try to put in quality work and honestly see where that takes you. Obviously, I didn't envision this, and I don't know that most people, when they arrive to a place like this, necessarily know how it's going to happen. I think you're focused really on just trying to do really quality work, and whatever comes out of that comes out of it.
Doug Lesmerises from Cleveland.com. Chris, how would you just evaluate the state of the program at the moment, and when will Ohio State make the NCAA tournament again?
Well, I think the state of the program is good. We have some work to do. I think the reason I'm excited is because the guys right behind you. And as I've gotten to know them and spent some time with them and looking forward to spend more time with them, if you said, hey, what gets you most excited? It's those guys. And what I've heard about those guys from people who've known them, that's really what gets me excited. And beyond that, I'm not going to put a timetable on, we're going to work every day to obviously play in the best tournament in the world. I can promise you that.
Chris, Ben Axelrod, Land of 10. You mentioned Coach Gross, you mentioned Coach Stevens. Those are two guys who spent time under Coach Mata. I'm wondering what kind of impact Coach Mata might have had on you, maybe even indirectly.
You know, I got to know Thad more here in the last few years, and we communicated more in the last few years. And, I just have always respected how he's done things and his integrity, his ability to win at the highest level, doing it the right way. And, and then it turned into a friendship. We had a tragic, something tragic happened with the young man who passed away at Butler last year, and he came around. Thad had coached him, and his family came around, so we had a chance to spend some time with him last summer. But, when I think of Thad, I think of a guy who, loves his players and who did it the right way.
Chris, Bill Landis from Cleveland.com. Folks here have been accustomed to a certain brand of basketball for 13 years. What can they expect from a Chris Holtmann coached basketball team?
Aggressive, attacking. We want to be physical and tough-minded. I think there's, it's obviously something we're going to have to work on every day, but tough-minded is going to be really important. But we want to play aggressive, attacking style, and we want our guys to play with freedom. We want them to go out there and cut loose and play. And I think that's what people will see when they watch our team.
Chris, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch. You come from a basketball school, played at a basketball school. You're coming to what some people say is football school. How did that intimidate you? How do you work that in?
I love it. Love it. I think it's great. I think it adds to this place. I think it was exciting to me, to be quite honest with you. I obviously have tremendous respect for Urban, and I appreciated him reaching out a couple days ago, and I'm excited to kind of pick his brain. But no, it was nothing but a positive.
Lori Schmidt, 97.1 The Fan. Welcome to Columbus.
Thank you.
You're obviously familiar with the state. How familiar are you with Ohio State, its history, its rivalries? I mean, can you talk about the process of acclimating yourself to being a Buckeye?
I think I have a pretty good feel for the rival, for our rival here. I think I have a pretty good feel for that. I've followed it from, listen, I love this school, I love this conference, and I followed it from a distance, and I've coached in this state. You can't coach in this state, right, and not have a great feel for what's going on here. And so I think I'm pretty well versed in the history of this particular program, and that's why these guys in the back means it means a lot. I've watched I watch these guys, and I watch these guys play, and I followed their path here in their career, and I follow them as they've continued to play. So it means a ton that they're here on this day.
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Mitch Stacy from the Associated Press. This was a whirlwind for you. This all happened very quickly. Can you take us through your weekend and sort of what happened over the couple days that building up to this press conference?
Well, it really started when I was contacted on Tuesday and Tuesday morning, and since that at that point. It's been a little bit of a blur, to be real honest with you. That's why I kind of wanted on Friday to put everything aside and just get to what's most important, and that is coming and spending some time with our guys. That was just Gene and I were so adamant about making that happen because, you know, in these days, there's so much coming at you that I just don't want the really important stuff to get ignored, and they're the really important stuff. So I've tried to focus on that in these few days as I've been hit from, you know, all different angles. I've just tried to say, okay, let me try to focus in on what's important right now, and I'll have to get to some of the other stuff later. I don't know if that answers your question or not. On Friday, I came back and forth. I came here and then flew here and flew back. And then Saturday was a lot of phone calls. Probably phone calls the whole day. I was reaching out to former players and connecting with some people here. Spoke to some recruits. And you know, tried to tie up a few loose ends on what this week would look like. And then Sunday, we came over here. Sunday, our family flew back over here on Sunday. We were headed out to Hilton Head for vacation on Saturday originally, so we had a change in plans. So my wife and daughter making arrangements for them to get to Hilton Head while I'm here. So we did that and flew over here and met with some really important people here who just prepared for today.
Hey Chris, Jacob Myers from the Lantern. Welcome to Columbus.
Thank you.
So in terms of scheduling, last couple of years, you haven't been shy at Butler to kind of go out and travel and play against those blue blood programs. Could that be a change here at Ohio State that you want to incorporate here?
Yeah, we want to put a really challenging non-conference schedule together. That's something that I believe in, and there's probably some risk associated with that, but I'm okay with that. We want to play a really challenging non-conference schedule. Our players want that, and we want that. We want to test ourselves because we know we're playing in one of the best conferences in the country. We want to test ourselves for that. So that's the direction that I anticipate going.
We're going to take one more, and then Gene's going to come up and talk about the process a little bit. Last one.
Chris, you've talked about how important it was to meet with your new guys and to get to know them a little bit. I wonder what sort of vibe you got and what the mood was like when you met them. The last time we got to talk to the team was after they lost to Rutgers, and Thad described the mood as very down and a little bit beaten down. I just wonder if you felt any of that and what your impressions were once you got to be in the room with your new team.
Yeah, no, I think it was great. There was a great energy there. I thought they were real. They asked some incredible questions. We had a little bit of dialogue, which was really important. You know, I think probably normally, you know, they're trying to feel me out, and I'm getting to know them. That's going to take some time. You know, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. We're going to spend a lot of time together collectively, and then we're going to spend a lot of one-on-one time together, and that process will. It'll continue to happen, but I think they were just kind of learning and wanting to understand who I am and what I'm about. But I sensed excitement and I think a readiness to get to work, and I think they're excited about what's ahead. I hope they are, and I cannot wait to get working with them. Cannot wait.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chris, and I want to thank the former players for being here. Appreciate you guys showing up, and obviously I want to thank the players for being here as well. And some of the departmental staff, thank you for being here, although I know you're out of your office, so you're glad to be here. But I thought I'd come up and bring some clarity to the search. There's a lot of rumors out there, and I thought I might be able to clear up some of those rumors. First and foremost, having done this for over 30 years, I made a promise to the players that I would move as swiftly as I could to make sure we got it right. Just to put it in context, just to remind you all, when I met with Thad on Friday, June 2nd, I did not go into that meeting anticipating that he and I would agree on a leadership change. Once we came out of that meeting, I began the process to focus on one priority, and that was to do everything that we could to make sure Monday's press conference paid a tribute to him in the humanistic way that he deserved. And there was a lot of rumors that weekend about what that press conference was going to be. But the reality is the focus was on him and doing it the right way. That Saturday, I was in Chicago at Big Ten meetings and began the process of developing a profile for our next leader, the financial parameters, and a strategy to move forward. Fortunately, President Drake came to those Big Ten meetings on Sunday morning. I met with him to get an affirmation around the profile and to get authority to use the financial parameters that I felt we needed to have in place as I moved forward. He did that. On that Sunday, I also engaged a good friend, a guy by the name of Eddie Fogler, who I've known for a long time, does a great job with background checks and vetting information about prospects. Again, because of where we were with the press conference at 2 o'clock on Monday, I couldn't activate. I couldn't start. Couldn't contact anyone. So we moved to the press conference, and immediately after the press conference, Eddie and I began to vet our lists. Reached out to all of our contacts in the basketball community to go through background. And as we went through that background and vetted different people through our relationships, my number one candidate emerged. It was clear. He was my target. He was my target from the very beginning Monday night. Then we offered him the job on Tuesday. He had trepidation. Okay, it was initially a 7-year contract. I can't remember who asked that question up here. I apologize. It was initially a 7-year contract. I did go to 8 in the process of him considering to hopefully push his wife over the edge. I didn't care about him. I cared about Lori. So I was trying to push her over the edge. But the reality is we went from 7 to 8. 6 was never on the table at all. And the contract is being worked out, so at some point you'll get the details of the financials when that's complete. So he needed time to think, and I needed to move because I wasn't sure what he was going to do. And contrary to popular demand, I'm talented, but not that talented. I was not in Roanoke. Okay, the plane was in Roanoke, but I wasn't on it. Okay, but the reality is on Tuesday and Wednesday, I was traveling a lot, spoke to a number of people, met with a few people, but fortunately he and I agreed to meet Thursday morning. I was able to wake up and get my wife to, after 3 hours of sleep, to drive with me to Dayton. He did the same thing. He and Lori met me in Dayton, and this unbelievable place, and we sat and had a great conversation, got to know one another, and in that moment he accepted the job, and I called Eddie and I said, we're done. Release everyone else. We're done. We got our guy. So that is the process by which it occurred. So I wanted to bring some context to it. In my world, that's to the guys sitting in that back row, that's as swift and as fast as I could move. And I hope your patience that you gave us, you feel good about it. Because that's my most important concern. It's you guys in that back row, and of course the alums that I serve every single day. So I thought I'd share that with you. Because of confidentiality and all the people that I talked to and met, I'm not going to get into any details about that process. That is how it worked. So I wanted to provide that to you. Thank you all for being here. Dan, anything else we need to do?
Coach will be up here for the TVs that have asked for a couple quick questions, and then Jayshawn Tate and Kata Bates CF will be up here as well.
Well, thank you so much, and I want to thank Buckeye Nation for all their support. We're looking forward to next season. Go Bucks.